There's been a steady drumbeat in work away from long-term planning, long-term thinking, long-term investment in our people, and it's all been replaced by short-termism. We all know this, especially if you work for a public company. Those quarterly results seem to outweigh almost everything, you know? And as a result of that sort of more finite mindset, it has ripples in the way we make decisions, in the way we develop strategy. So, for example, the concept of mass layoffs, mass redundancies on an annualized basis to balance the numbers did not exist prior to the 1980s. It just wasn't a thing. And now it's culturally acceptable. So much so that if a company announces mass layoffs, their stock price goes up. And if they announce a significant investment in R&D, their stock price goes down. And if your executives are incentivized based on the price of the equity, well, guess what happens? And so you have to understand that 24-year-old has grown up in a time where that became so normalized that 100% of them either have a parent or the parent of a friend who was laid off through no fault of their own. It's not a meritocracy. It doesn't matter how hard you worked, how well you worked, or how long you've worked there. If the company missed its arbitrary projections, you get to lose your job. And so we have to understand the companies set the rules for work. And the companies broke the deal of, we're going to look after you for a career, and in return, you're going to give us a lifetime worth of loyalty, and at the end, we'll give you a gold watch. I can speak to a room, and I can talk about the gold watch analogy, and everybody under 35 or 40 doesn't know what I'm talking about. They don't know what I mean when I say, get your gold watch. They have no clue. And that's because the deal was broken. And the thought of them giving an entire career to one company is hilarious. But that's not because they're entitled or stupid. It's because they're playing by the rules the company set. And so for every action, there's an equal opposite reaction. And so that's why when you and I were coming up through the ranks, we would work really hard, go to see our boss and say, can I have a raise, please? Look what I've done. And now kids say, pay me up front and you'll see what I can do. And they're right, because they're hedging their bets, which is because they don't know what day they're going to get laid off, at least give me the cash now. So we have to understand how we got here, that they didn't do anything wrong. They're playing by the rules that were set by us. And so we want them to behave differently. We have to change the rules of the game. We have to make them feel like we're investing in their growth. We have to make them feel that when we ask them to do things, that they've built trust for us, that even if it's uncomfortable, they don't understand, there's a history of, you're not going to screw me, and this actually is in my best interest, even though I may not realize it now. I'll take the risk for you because you're giving so much to me. We have a moral and business responsibility to help our people not only build their business skills, but to build their human skills. That is our responsibility. And so some companies will have less of an issue when that is the general dynamic of the culture. Now, some young people are struggling with anxiety and depression and all these things, and they think it's from being with people. They don't realize that we haven't dealt with all the side effects of lockdown. And we're still dealing with those ripples. And they're at home where they feel anxious, but at least they're at home, which is safe. And as soon as they come to work, they freak out, and they think it's work that caused the freak out. I think it's very important for us to talk about these things out loud and let people come along at their own pace. Some will come quicker and some will come slower. But we have to create a culture in which people feel safe to ask for help and say, I'm struggling and I don't know what to do. The way we do that is by us setting the example. Just like children follow their parents, there are these videos that are going around online, which are really horrible, but it's the internet, where a parent will take their infant kid, hold them, walk up to a wall, smack the wall with their hand, you hear the thump, and say to the kid, "Oh, are you okay?" And the kid starts crying. They didn't hit their head. The kid will follow the parent's response. And so we can't simply tell our people, I have an open door, any problems you have, I'm here for you. It doesn't work that way. What we have to do is say, hey, folks, just so you know, I've been having a bad week, struggling a little bit. Please be patient with me. My work product's I'm going to be a little slow to respond. I just need your help while I'm just dealing with stuff at home. And if we have the courage to do that, they will follow. Just as a quick aside, I call it confident ignorance, right? You don't want to come to work and be like, I got some stuff going on at home. It's not going well. I need you. No, you own it. Just like, I don't know something. You don't want to say, I don't know how to read a P&L. You go, hey, I don't know how to read a P&L. Somebody can just explain it to me, please?
Yeah.
Right? And I think that starts to help. What we're looking for is, everybody who asks this question is looking for a solution to the problem. What they forget is that the problem was years in the making, and the solution is going to at least be months in the making. And if you haven't done the hard work of building up the culture of trust, start now.
Yeah.
I will say, as a final thought, I know one guy who's the CEO of a fairly decent-sized company, many thousands of employees, and I thought the way that he did it was absolutely genius. It's the same thing. Everybody went remote. He's trying to get people back. He knows he's not going to succeed, or he's going to create a mass rebellion or damage morale. And so he makes one dictate. He demanded that his direct reports, whether it was 12 people, 15 people, only they have to come to work. Everybody else is still optional. And he says to the senior reports, you're a senior leader. If you have a problem with that, then you have no right being here. Like you toe the party line because you're a senior leader. So they have to be at work. Turns out, when that group comes to work, this group kind of wants to show up more to get a little face time. And if that group is showing up more, this group shows up a little more. And before you know it, everybody's back at work. But again, took a bit of time. But I thought that was kind of genius.